Well, we're very privileged now to be joined on Live at Wimbledon by Stephen Fry. Stephen, thank you so much for talking to us. Just how big a tennis fan are you?
Enormous, and I have to say much more of a Wimbledon fan than I am wholly a tennis fan. I mean, I watch the French Open and the Australian Open or the American Open if I can, if they're around and I'm around, but it's Wimbledon that I go out of my way to try and come to or to watch religiously. There's something very magical about it, and even as we stand here with the mixed doubles and other junior games going on the outside courts, it's something quite extraordinarily perfect. It's the difference the noise makes, the pock of the tennis ball on grass, and just the festive nature of it all, and the church spire in the background, and all the trees and the bushes, and it's a very, very magical place indeed. And the fact that it hasn't changed, it hasn't conceded to advertising banners and hideous colours and things like that, I think continues to lend lustre to it. And it's a bit, I basically think of it as being our version of the Masters golf tournament in America. It's it's the one that all the golf players really want to win because it's so beautiful and it's so unchanging, and it's so again, it isn't covered in advertising hoardings, and I think Wimbledon is just, it's a glorious thing, and it's midsummer, of course, often bedeviled by rain. This year seems to be bedeviled by injury and people withdrawing.
Absolutely. It's unusual that we have so much sunshine. We've just had our 6th withdrawal today. Joe Wilfried Tsonga, a really unusual day today, hasn't it? How surprised have you been by all the players dropping out? Of course, we've lost Azarenka, John Isner, Steve Darcy as well.
Yeah, I know, it's been very strange. I don't know whether it is the fact that although it has been quite sunny, it has been very cold. And athletes like to warm up, and they like to be warm. And we've had this strange situation, haven't we, with the fact that even when it's sunny, we've had an easterly wind, so it's never really been hot. Seems strange. I'm no medical sports specialist, but I'm sorry about Tsonga, because that was turning into a wonderful match, and they're both such inventive players. So I love to see the improvising and the drop shots and all court games rather than slugfests from the back, and it's a real pity, but it means I'm just about to go and watch Roger Federer, which is very good news anyway. At least,
are you a big Federer fan?
I watched his first match here when he played Pete Sampras. I think he was only about 17 or something, and he didn't win, but my goodness, you could tell the talent and the finesse. I was with a group of people who were very knowledgeable about tennis, and they were all saying this man's going to win Wimbledon many times, and this was when Pete Sampras was in his pomp and already had another 4, 5 Wimbledon titles to come, but he was just clearly such class. It's a wonderful thing, sport, especially a sport where it's one-on-one, and it's true to doubles to some extent, but is that you can get excited by different types of player, like a romantic player who's all sort of emotion and finesse, and another who is all sort of discipline. It's like Borg McEnroe and things like that. They just made a film about the rivalry between James Hunt and Niki Lauda, which is the same thing. One of them a playboy dashing, the other one working the odds. And the great thing about sport is you can see this happen, and you can also see when as it were the magic goes from one player to the other. One player may win 2 sets in a row, and then suddenly something snaps, and the other player, maybe because you've got nothing to lose, suddenly opens up, and you can see the focus go from the one who'd been winning. It's full of all those little stories inside it. It's fantastic.
Do you think there are enough big characters in the game? Ernest Gulbis at the French Open said it become quite boring at the top, particularly of the men's game with the big 4. Do you think there are enough characters, enough rivalries?
Well, Tsonga is one of them, of course. I love his dance that he does when he wins. And Gulbis is a heck of a character. I mean, what a story. He's from a very distinguished Latvian family of actors, and his father is one of the richest men in...
He's a billionaire, his father,
exactly,
isn't he?
I know.
He certainly doesn't need to play tennis.
Exactly. The fact he keeps out of nightclubs and stays fit to play is a miracle, actually.
And we know you love watching your tennis, you're watching your football as well, Stephen. Do you ever play tennis? Have you ever played?
I play so badly, you wouldn't believe it. I know all the things you're supposed to do. You're supposed to keep your eye on the ball, your head still, and your knees bent. I managed to do none of them, despite my brain telling me to do them. But I make a good umpire.
And you're off to watch Federer now. Who's your tip for the title this year, men and women?
Well, Andy Murray has a really strong chance, and how can you rule out Serena? She's one of the greatest athletes of all time. I won't say it'll be a procession; it never is at Wimbledon. Look how Rafa was out in the first round, but I would imagine that Murray and Williams dancing on the champions' the dance floor would be quite a sight.
Music to the British fans' ears if that happens. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for talking to me.
Thank you, Lindsay. Nice talking to you. Bye-bye.